arrest and 5 convictions for tax administration offences. Over and above, the 5 arrests and a conviction were secured for contravention of the Customs and Excise Act. One case is being cited in this regard. This is just an example. That is case number 1 in the Free State. Between 2017 and 2019, Musebezi Samuel Musia, 57 years old, who's a member of Elegant Line Trading CC, misrepresented the facts in the tax return of the corporation to SARS, which resulted in the latter suffering a loss of more than 1.2 million rands. A case was reported to the Hawks Serious Commercial Crime Investigation Team based in Bethlehem for further investigation. After securing the attendance of the accused in court, Musia, together with his cooperation, Elegant Line Trading CC, were found guilty by the Bethlehem Regional Court on the 18th of April 2023. This conviction is on 8 counts of contravention of the Tax Administration Act 28 of 2011. The Elegant Line Trading CC was sentenced to a fine of 5 million rands, which is wholly suspended for a period of 5 years, whilst Musia was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment, which is suspended for 5 years. He was further instructed to repay SARS the VAT amount of 372,972 rands on or before the 30th of September this year. And furthermore, he was instructed to pay SARS income tax of an amount of 853,194 rand before the end of this month. In the second case that happened in the Eastern Cape, during the period between March 2013 and February 2021, Batandwa Matinka, as an administrative and learner support officer of Kuha Development Corporation, used the details of learners that have already exited the training program and substituted their banking details with his own on the payroll system. This was submitted to the external payroll service provider, who used the same information to pay the process of a student stipend. The stipend was then paid into various bank accounts, which were held in the name of Matikinka. Intensive investigation discovered that the suspect also paid funds in his own wife's bank account. The matter was reported to the Gqeberha-based Serious Commercial Crime Investigation Team of the Hawks for further investigation. The investigation confirmed an actual prejudice of more than 6.6 million rands to Kuha Development Corporation. Matinga was arrested on the 26th of May 2022 and made his first court appearance in the Specialized Commercial Crime Court on the 30th of May 2022, where he was released on bail. He made a series of court appearances before he was convicted on the 1st of March 2023. On the 26th of May 2023, the Gqeberha Specialized Commercial Crimes Court sentenced Matinga to 10 years imprisonment on charges of fraud and 5 years for money laundering. The court ordered that the sentence shall run concurrently. In case number 3, a team leader imprisoned for embezzlement of funds. In this case, that also happened in the Eastern Cape. In January 2021, Private Security Industry Regulator Authority, that is called SIRA, head office discovered that an amount of 8,200 rands, which was supposed to be deposited in the Mthatha SIRA office, was not reflecting on its bank statement. Upon inquiring from Mr. Galela Mgegeza, who was then a team leader in Mthatha's office, he could not give a reasonable explanation as to what happened. This triggered an internal investigation which revealed that between June and November 2021, cash to the value of more than 970,000 rand, which was supposed to be deposited into the bank by Mgegeza, was never deposited, but instead misappropriated. When the investigation was conducted, he was then arrested by the Hawks in June 2021. He appeared on the 7th of February 2023 again, where he was then prosecuted. He was released on bail, and on the 31st of May 2023, he was ultimately convicted on charges of theft of the funds, and he was given 12 years imprisonment, which he had to serve without the option of a fine. In the fourth case of a bookkeeper who was sentenced for a theft of 7.6 million rand, which happened in the Western Cape. In this regard, between the 29th of January 2016 and the 31st of December 2020, Gillian Mary Wildman, who was employed as a bookkeeper at ID Lighting in George, was to capture bank statement transactions and administrative payments to creditors of this company. The money was diverted, which amounted to 7.6 million rand, into the account belonging to the suspect. That money was supposed to have gone to creditors and suppliers. The matter was reported to the Hawks Serious Commercial Crime Investigation for further examination. This led to her being summoned to appear before court on the 25th of November 2022. On the 12th of May 2023, Wildman was sentenced by the George Regional Court to 14 years imprisonment. 6 of the sentence is suspended for 5 years. She shall serve 8 years direct imprisonment for this offense. In case number 5, 22 years imprisonment meted out to a former police official. This happened in Gauteng. Between 2018 and 2020, an employee of FNB Gauteng applied through internet for a temporary account executive job at Chair Denster Company in China. Interview was conducted telephonically and she got a job. After getting a job, an amount of 1.9 million was deposited into a First National Bank business account by the company to allegedly buy Bitcoin and transfer them into another FNB account. A case of fraud was opened at Brooklyn against her. She was dismissed by the bank after disciplinary case for that transaction. The criminal case was investigated by a warrant officer, Demetrius Fisaki of SAPS Brooklyn. In 2019, Fisaki demanded a gratuity of 3,500, 3,000, as well as 120,000, and 10% and 75% of the 1.9 million rands in return for not arresting her and to withdraw the case against her. At the time, Fisaki didn't know that actually FNB employee no longer had the money in her account, and her account was actually frozen. The matter was reported to the Hawks Pretoria corruption investigation for the purpose of further investigation. On the 20th of August 2020, Fisaki was caught in the act after demanding an extra 75% of the 1.9 million rands. Fisaki, who has now retired, made his first appearance on the 3rd of August 2020, where he was released on 2,500 rand bail. He made several appearances in court until he was convicted on 4 counts of corruption on the 13th of March 2023. On the 9th of May 2023, Fisaki was sentenced to 4 years imprisonment on each of the 1 to 3 counts, and he was further sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for count number 4. In case number 6, a bogus estate sentenced for fraud and money laundering. This happened in the Free State. During 2016, Sabata Israel Papani was approached by a complainant after the latter developed interest in purchasing an advertised house. They signed a contract after which the complainant gave him an amount of 100,000 rand. When it was time for the complainant to occupy the house, she discovered that the accused had no mandate to sell that house. A case was registered and handed over to the Hawk Serious Commercial Crime Investigation Unit based in Bloemfontein for further investigation. That resulted in securing the attendance of the accused in court. On the 9th of June 2023, Papani was found guilty by the Bloemfontein Magistrate Court on charges of fraud, money laundering, and contravention of the Estate Agents Affairs Act 112 of 1976. This act has already been repealed, but at the time of the commission, it was still in place. He was then sentenced to 23 years imprisonment without the option of a fine. In case number 7, a woman is sentenced for 3.7 million rand fraud. That happened in Gauteng. Between 2015 and 2018, Carmelia Mgomezulu worked as a senior account executive for a payroll company called Inyati Pty Limited. Her duties included authorizing payment of her employer's clients, employees' salaries, repairs, and maintenance. Internal audit was established that she would occasionally transfer the funds of the company into her own personal account and those of her families. As a result, the company suffered a financial loss of approximately 3.7 million rands. A case docket was registered and handed over to the Hawk Serious Commercial Crime Investigation Team based in Johannesburg for further investigation. On the 25th of November 2020, Mgomezulu was arrested in Protea Glen, Soweto, and later released on 5,000 rand bail. She made several court appearances at the Specialized Commercial Crime Court, Johannesburg, which sits in Palm Ridge. On the 3rd of May 2023, she was found guilty on 762 counts of fraud and sentenced to 15 years imprisonment. Coming to the serious organized crime investigation, trafficking in persons. Trafficking in persons is a modern-day slavery and a crime against humanity. South Africa has not been spared this twin pandemic of trafficking in persons and smuggling of migrants. During this reporting period, 7 potential victims of trafficking in persons were rescued, while 9 suspects were arrested and 2 life imprisonment sentences were secured in this regard. One case is being cited as an example. That is case number 8. 2 victims rescued and trafficking in persons accused remanded in custody. That happened in the Northwest Province. On the 20 January 2023, 2 females aged 20 and 31 were found at a home of Esther Mwanza, 41 years old. They are alleged to have been trafficked from the Democratic Republic of Congo to South Africa, where they were allegedly endured a labor exploitation. On the 2nd of June 2023, Mwanza was arrested by the Hawks Serious Organized Crime Investigation Unit that is based in Klerksdorp. She made a brief appearance before the Klerksdorp Magistrate Court for trafficking in persons charge. The victims were interviewed and subsequently taken to a place of safety which was provided by the Department of Social Development. A case of this accused person is postponed to the 19th September this year. In case number 9, trio sentenced to 195 years imprisonment. This happened in the Northern Cape. Following a string of hijackings and kidnapping cases that were reported around John Taolo Haitziwi district during 2019, cases against Katlego Sebolai, Geobagile Ubuseng, and Neo Liquidi were referred to the Kuruman-based Serious Organized Crime Investigation Team of the Hawks, which conducted thorough investigation. On the 19th of May 2023, the Kuruman Magistrate Court sentenced Sebolai, Ubuseni, and Liquidly to a combined total of 195 years imprisonment for kidnapping, hijacking, murder, illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. Each of the trio were sentenced as follows: 25 years imprisonment for murder, 15 years imprisonment for kidnapping, 10 years imprisonment for illegal possession of firearms, and 8 years imprisonment for illegal possession of ammunition, and 7 years for hijacking. These sentences will run concurrently, and the trio are declared unfit to possess firearms. In case number 10, 20 Hollander organized criminal group members secured in court for assortment of crimes. This happened in the Northern Cape. Between August 2020 and March 2023, a criminal gang from Kimberley was engaged in various criminal activities, including murder, attempted murder, possession of unlicensed firearm, insurance fraud, kidnapping, rape, assault, conspiracy to commit murder, and contravention of Section 9 of the Prevention of Organized Crime Act 121 of 1998, which relates to gang-related offenses. On the 4th and 5th May 2023, Chain Adams, Shawin Smith, Henry Blom, St. Sad Lawan, Vincent Rosen, Michael Peters, Simone Rose, Thabo Sokopane, Stephanie McAnder, Brittany Arends, Janine Plaiki, Abigail van Wyk were simultaneously arrested in Kimberley by the team consisting of Kuruman Hawks investigators serious commercial crime investigators, and the crime prevention units in the greater SAPS. They are charged together with the main accused, which is George Barnett Peters, together with the other accomplice Dion May, Shakire Pike, Nico Ovuza, Pesto Mentor, Tsebo Talimbi, Chinaz Mento, and Clive Peters. During their arrest, Mendrax tablets and cash were seized for further investigation with an additional charge of dealing in drugs. The accused made a brief appearance in the Kimberley Magistrates Court on the 5th of May 2023, facing numerous charges, including aiding and abetting of criminal gang activities, murder, attempted murder, and possession of unlicensed firearm, insurance fraud, kidnapping, assault, conspiracy to commit murder, and contravention of the POCA. The case against these accused persons is postponed to the 15th of September 2023 for the continuation of bail applications. Coming to the criminal activities relating to drugs, a total number of 48 suspects were arrested on drug-related charges. The majority of these suspects were arrested by the South African Narcotics Enforcement Bureau, SANEP, within the component of Serious Organized Crime Investigation Unit of the DPCI. Drugs valued to an amount of 3,642 million were seized, and 5 drug laboratories, that is in Gauteng, Northwest, Western Cape, were dismantled. In the next case, case number 11, a drug laboratory worth millions uncovered. This has just been cited as an example of those drug-related criminal activities. On the 11th of May 2023, the SANEP of the Hawks based in Western Cape, in collaboration with the Crime Intelligence and Special Task Force, pounced on Georabedzi Elias Mutsibe and Muzingisi Magoloda, operating a fully functional clandestine laboratory in the rural Mohale city, Magaliesburg. You can already see that the team based in Cape Town does not only operate in the Cape Town, but they cross provincial borders to follow where the origin of the drugs that trouble the province come from. The team executed a search and seizure warrant following an intensive investigation into drug supply following the Western Cape. During the search, the police found Mendrax paste, Mendrax tablets, Mendrax press machine, an oven, dry methaqualone, buckets of methaqualone, and drums of powder used in the manufacturing of Mendrax, with an estimated value of 150 million rands. Mutsibe was later released on 20,000 rand bail, while Mugoloda was remanded in custody after his bail was successfully denied. The case was postponed for further investigation, and the duo will appear in Krugersdorp Magistrate Court on the 19th of October 2023 on charges of dealing in drugs and contravention of Drug and Drug Trafficking Act of 1992. Coming to the criminal activities of cash-in-transit heists, cash-in-transit heists continue to be a thorn in the economy of the country, and the DPCI, in collaboration with private organizations such as SITASA, continue to strengthen the fight against these crimes. For this reporting period, A total of 27 suspects were arrested and 6 convictions were secured, which will share a sentence of 121 years imprisonment. A further 23 CIT-related offences, including Sebokeng gun battle, will find expression in this regard. Case number 12, which is cited as an example, trio arrested for cash in transit robbery. This happened in the Free State. On the 9th of May 2023, an armed vehicle of Fidelity Security was on its way from the depot to Bloemfontein Central Business District to deliver cash. Before the security official reached their destination, it is alleged that they were accosted by a group of heavily armed suspects at Mackenzie Street, East End in Bloemfontein. The robbers instructed the security officials to get out of the vehicle. Then they blew the vault and the drop safe open. The suspects fled the scene with an undisclosed amount of money and 3 firearms of the security officials. On the 10th of May 2023, a Hawks Serious Organized Crime Investigation team based in Bloemfontein arrested 3 Fidelity security officials, Mzwandile Choko, Molefe Sidwell Molefe, and Dion Dilange, for their involvement in robbery. Molefe and Dilange were released on warning, while Choko is still in custody. The case has been remanded to the 13th of September 2023. In the second matter, 2 armed robbers sentenced. This happened in the Western Cape. On the 7th of September 2014, Coin security personnel collected money at Harare Spa in Khayelitsha. 7 suspects robbed 1 official of his firearm. In the process, a shootout ensued where a crewman was wounded. No money was taken in this case. The suspects fled the scene. 9mm pistol belonging to one of the suspects was recovered at the crime scene, as well as 4 R5 cartridges and 5 9mm cartridges. The matter was allocated to the DPCI. Telford Gosa and Lunga Mujinela were arrested. On the 11th of April 2023, the duo were convicted and sentenced on the 20th of April 2023 by the Khayelitsha Regional Court for attempted cash in transit robbery as well as attempted murder. Gosa was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, of which 4 years is suspended for attempted armed robbery and 5 years imprisonment for attempted murder. Mvinjelwa was sentenced to 12 years imprisonment, of which 4 years is suspended for attempted armed robbery, 5 years for imprisonment for attempted murder. The sentences will run concurrently. Effectively, Gosa will serve 6 years imprisonment, whereas Mvinjelwa will serve 8 years imprisonment. Coming to police killings, attacks on police officials are an attack on the state, and the death of 1 police official is one too many. Dear South Africans, on the first quarter only, we noted a concern that 31 police officials were killed in 30 incidents. During the same period, 24 arrests were effected. A total number of 9 convictions were secured on murder of police officials. 8 of these convicts have been sentenced to share 9 life-term imprisonment and a further combined period of more than 100 years imprisonment. The 8 who are sharing 9 lifetime imprisonment is because one is actually having 2 life imprisonment sentences. The 9 lifers are Ntukuzo Mabaso, Nkosinathi Luthuli, Kusawendoda Simplex Luthuli, Thabani Motaung, Tlhabirwa Rasinkune, Akiram Patisani Masuku, Andile Mbona, Saziso Kambule. The 9th criminal, Nhlakanipo Ndovela, received 30 years imprisonment, so he did not get life imprisonment. Already one can see that the number of life sentences may exceed what we have achieved last year, because last year was 9 life sentences for the whole year. Now this one already in 1 quarter, we have 9 life sentences, which means that this financial year, one expects that we may get more than what we got last year. Some of these successes include the following 2 cases that I'm citing as an example. 2 police killers sentenced to life imprisonment. This happened in KwaZulu-Natal. On the 4th of May 2021, at about 2200 hours, Sergeant Sibongise Mbanjwa of Phoenix Detectives was fatally wounded in a state vehicle when he was attacked with his colleague. A case of murder, attempted murder and robbery was reported at Verulam police station. It was allocated to the Hawks members in Durban Serious Organized Crime Investigation. 2 weeks later, Nkosikona Luthuli, 28 years, and Kusawendoda Luthuli, 42 years, were arrested. They appeared in court several times and their bail was successfully opposed. On the 21st of April 2023, the Verulam Regional Court convicted and sentenced both accused to life imprisonment for the murder and 5 years imprisonment for attempted murder and 5 years imprisonment for robbery. In case number 15, police killer sentenced to life imprisonment. This happened in the Northwest Province. On the 30th of November 2020, a business robbery occurred in Marikana. Whilst members of Marikana Crime Prevention were following up on information regarding the robbery, they spotted Thabo Motaung, an illegal migrant, and others at an informal settlement. When they approached the group, they were met with gunfire. A shootout ensued, resulting in the death of a police official. Motaung was arrested and a pistol and ammunition was seized. The matter was taken over by the Hawks and the accused made several appearances starting on the 8th of December 2020 before the Thabani Magistrate Court, where he was remanded in custody until his conviction. On the 17th of April 2023, Motaung was sentenced to life imprisonment for the murder, 7 years imprisonment for unlawful possession of a firearm, 5 years imprisonment for unlawful possession of ammunition, and 2 years imprisonment for discharging a firearm and 12 months imprisonment for being an illegal immigrant in the country. Coming to economic protected resources, wildlife trafficking, South Africa is a home to nearly 10% of the world's plants and 7% of the world's reptiles, birds and mammals. Due to the abundance of these natural resources, we are targeted by unscrupulous people who illegally kill and traffic wildlife species for financial gain. I provide an example of such an incident where 16 suspects were arrested during a takedown operation called Blood Orange. It needs to be noted that a number of our cases involve more than one person. And if you note the arrests that we are reporting on, you will note and observe that it is more than one person that are usually arrested in criminal activities. In this regard, case number 16 in court for money laundering, that happened in Mpumalanga. On the 3rd of June 2023, the attendance of 16 suspects, Francis Kipamba, Martin Lukeli, Eunice Lukeli, Sipo Nyundu, the Daniel Maluleke and several family members of Maluleke appeared in the Nelspruit Commercial Crimes Court on charges of money laundering, corruption, conspiracy to commit crime, and contravention of the National Environmental Management Biodiversity Act of 2004 that relates to dealing in rhino horns. This was conducted under an operation called Blood Orange that happened in Mpumalanga, Gauteng Province, and Limpopo. The case relating to these accused persons is postponed to the 25th of October 2023 for the final auditor's report as well as a pre-trial conference. Coming to serious commercial crime investigation, case number 17, 19 accused persons arrested for money laundering of over 60 million rands. In this case, it happened in Mpumalanga. Between the 18th July 2022 and the 4th of April 2023, the Nelspruit Hawk Serious Commercial Crime Investigation and the Road Traffic Management Corporation, together with other entities, arrested the suspects for fraud, theft, and money laundering. On the 4th of April 2023, Diemekis Peter Buotes, who is the owner of a fleet of 45 trucks, was secured before the Nelspruit Magistrate Court for alleged fraud. It is alleged that he registered fleet of vehicles without paying license fees, which resulted in the loss of 60 million rands. He appeared alongside Tembi Madloyi, Tabani Masuku, Koliswa Ngelwani, Nomphumelelo Winnie Ngumalo, Agnes Ndinisa, Samuel Gumede, Clifford Kumalo, Precious Matseka, Nkosinati Matlaela. The 18 accused, the 18th accused, which is Maurice Chabalala, was arrested on the 25th of July, while the 19th one, God Gift Ngampalala, was arrested on the 26th of July, which is obviously outside the reporting period, but we just add them so that it can conclude the picture of these accused persons. The case itself is postponed to the 25th of October 2023 for disclosure in the Nelspruit Specialized Commercial Crimes Court. In case number 18, 9 arrests for theft of funds at a TVET college. This happened in the Western Cape. Between March 2009 and August 2013, Luvuyo Lennox Ngubelanga, the former CEO, Elliot Ndiabaza, Prudence Dingizwayo, Patrick Mbembe, Peter Sam, Andreas Ngubeni, Maude Mzizi, and Shamrak Njozelwa who were employees and contractors of the South Cape College, colluded to submit non-compliance bid and document for the construction and renovation of colleges in the whole district. This resulted in a prejudice and loss to the South Cape TVET College to the amount of over 24 million rands. The investigation found then that the matter constitute corruption that prejudiced the Department of Higher Education. This matter was referred to the Hawks for further investigation, and that revealed that the CEO influenced the other officials to deviate from the tender process in order for the scheme to benefit those involved entities. Some of the employees were directors and members of certain entities, and they never disclosed that they were involved directly or indirectly with these entities. On the 13th of April 2023, the Hawks Serious Commercial Crime Investigation Team in George, together with the Public Order Policing, arrested the suspects on warrant of arrest in connection with theft of funds from the South Cape Technical and Vocational Education Training College, which is TVET. On the 10th of May 2023, the 9th suspect, Zukiswa Zitku, who was the chief financial officer, was arrested. The suspects were charged with corruption, 16 counts of fraud, alternatively theft, and 8 accused made their first appearance in George Magistrate Court on their day of arrest, and they were released on bail ranging from 2,000 to 5,000. On the 11th of May 2023, the 9th accused, Zuki Zitku, who was the chief financial officer, appeared in the George Magistrate Court and was released on 5,000 rand bail. The matter is remanded to the 8th of November 2023 for disclosure of particulars. In case number 19, 18 suspects arrested for theft of 36 million rands. As I have indicated, you will be seeing that the arrest that we are doing is usually involving more than one suspect. This particular matter happened in Limpopo. On the 24th of April 2022, a foreign national who is a businessman died in a motor car accident in South Africa. On the 25th April, Thabo Matenda, 29 years old, who is an employee of First National Bank in Makhado, opened a profile of this deceased client without authorization, and he stole 36,989,052 rands. The stolen funds were transferred into the new different bank accounts that were created. A case of theft was opened and assigned to the Serious Commercial Crime Investigation within the Hawks based in Polokwane. On Monday, the 29th of May 2023, a simultaneous takedown operation was embarked upon in Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, Northern Cape, and Limpopo provinces. The first accused person to be arrested in this case was a First National Bank employee based in Makhado, that is Thabiso Matenda. The 18 suspects, which are Moses Banda, who is a suspected mastermind, and Nomapelo Seti, Rodi Nyeza, and others were joined in this matter. Among the suspects that were arrested include a police sergeant, Azitakazi Matonzi of Makhado SAPS. The case itself is postponed to the 16th of October 2023 in Bulugwane Specialized Commercial Crimes Court. In case number 20, the former MEC, HOD, and a company director in court on alleged 420 million tender fraud. This happened in the Northern Cape. During 2003, the Northern Cape Department of Health, together with the Department of Road and Public Works, embarked on a project to construct a new mental health facility in Kimberley. The original contract was to an amount of 290 million rands. It is alleged that some of the contracted building faces possible demolition after 420 million was paid to a liquidated contractor. It was discovered that the company was appointed did not have the capacity to render the service, and the contract was terminated whilst money was already paid. The work on the project has since been halted, leaving the facility incomplete and unusable, and at considerable loss to the Department of Health. Officials did not follow the normal procurement procedures in appointing the consultant. On the 23rd of May 2023, Patience Mukali, who is the former head of the Department for Roads and Public Works, and Tseholegai Mutauni, who is a director of Baberegi Consulting Engineers, were secured before the Appington Magistrates Court by the Serious Corruption Investigation Team of the Hawks based in Kimberley. On the 30th of May, the former MEC of Transport, Road and Public Works in the Northern Cape, Mr. John Block, was also secured before the same court. They are charged with contravention of Public Finance Management Act, fraud, corruption, and money laundering. Both accused are out of bail, on bail, and the case is postponed to the 5th of October for disclosure. In case number 21, Hawks recover stolen money. In this regard, the matter happened in the Northern Cape. Between the 1st and the 3rd of March 2023, 3 Bangladeshi nationals, namely Aluminal Islam, Ullah Foji, and Akhtar Atika, tampered with the drop safe used at their shop. They allegedly dropped an amount of 707,000 rand repeatedly, thereby making their drop safe app account linked to the safe to be credited with approximately 11 million rand. A total amount of 11 million rand was immediately transferred to different bank accounts locally and offshore. Irregular activities of the safe were detected and reported to the Serious Commercial Crime Investigation of the Hawks in Kimberley. On the 3rd of March 2023, the trio were traced at Kimberley Airport, where they were about to board a flight to Johannesburg, with their final destination being Dubai and or Dhaka, as per their airline tickets. They were searched, and an amount of 23,000 rands cash was found in their possession, which was seized. The trio are charged with fraud, money laundering, and the state has successfully opposed numerous bail applications. Further investigation by the DPCI Serious Commercial Crime Investigation Team, assisted by the Priority Crime Specialized Investigation Team, resulted in the discovery of an amount in excess of 4 million rands. The matter is remanded to the 5th of September 2023 for decision on another formal bail application. In case number 22, undercover billionaires accused appear in court for 100 million rands investment scheme. This happened in Gauteng. On the 16th of May 2023, Louis Chakwani and Louis Chakwani Jr. were arrested by the Hawks Serious Commercial Crime Investigation Unit based in Johannesburg, which was assisted by the Gauteng Traffic, Ekurhuleni Metro Police, and the Crime Intelligence. This happened at a funeral in Mamelodi and at residence, respectively. On the 17th of May 2023, Susan Chakwani handed herself over to the Hawks, and the matter was placed on the court roll. They are alleged to have participated in the presentation aimed at enticing potential investors with a promise of a higher return from the proceeds of unregistered investment company as undercover billionaires. The amount of investments tendered is approximately 100 million rands. Chakwani Jr. was first arrested in 2019, where he was granted 70,000 rand bail. The accused then made a series of appearances, but later absconded. His arrest was as a result of a bench warrant for which he forfeited his bail. The trio appeared in the Palm Ridge Specialized Commercial Crimes Court on the 17th of May on charges of fraud, theft, money laundering, and contravention of the Financial Advisory and Intermediary Services Act. Chakwani Sr. and his wife were released on 70,000 and 50,000 rand bail, respectively, whilst the junior is still in custody. The case itself is postponed to the 23rd of October 2023. Coming to the activities of financial investigation and the asset forfeiture investigation section of the Priority Crime Specialized Investigation, a total number of 67 freezing orders were granted with monetary value of 183 million rands. A total of 46 preservation orders with a monetary value of 27 million rand and 17 forfeiture orders with a monetary value of 6 million rands, as well as 3 confiscation orders with a monetary value of 563 and 1 restraint order with a monetary value of 149 million were granted in the first quarter of 2023-2024 of this financial year. This is the kind of work that assists in generating funds for the Criminal Assets Recovery Account, CARA. And the work in this regard is done by the DPCI in collaboration with the Asset Forfeiture Unit of the National Prosecuting Authority that have got the mandate to go to court and apply for these orders. In case number 23, restrained order against Amathule District Municipality is being cited as an example of this type of cases. This happened in the Eastern Cape. In 2013, Amathule District Municipality embarked on a project, accelerated sanitation program, where 66,700 ventilated improved pit toilets in various villages were to be erected. An amount of 631 million was allocated for the project, and the CIESA group of companies was appointed to execute. After the payment of the first tranche, National Treasury lodged a complaint that the company's CIESA group submitted a false tax clearance certificate prior to awarding of this tender. Investigation ensued, and the money to the value of more than 149 million was traced to a number of beneficiaries' accounts, beside the 16 million house, which was bought by the director of CIESA Group, using the funds acquired from the project. On the 22nd of November 2019, the accused, Ntsokolo Chris Kwananda, Nkosinathi Soga, Mpumelelo Shezi, Laluma Taleni, Ogama Mutlagwe, Goodman Vimba, Bongani Mpeluza, Edison Gaga, Helen Kwinana Buadi, and Lovemore Kativu were arrested and released on bail. The matter is currently on the court roll in the Eastern Cape High Court that is sitting in Makanda, and it is postponed to the 20th of September 2023. That is for the purpose of the outcome of representation that shall have been made by some of the accused persons to the National Director of Public Prosecution. The money and the house were confiscated, and a provisional restraint order was granted on the 2nd of December 2019. On the 16th of May 2023, Eastern Cape High Court confirmed the 165 million rand worth of restraint order against the Amathule District Municipality officials. This relate to the directors of business, their businesses that are charged with fraud, corruption, money laundering, and assisting others in benefiting from the proceeds of unlawful activities in contravention of the Municipal Finance Management Act. In the next case, case number 24, preservation orders in excess of 1.9 million granted. This is another example. That happened in Gauteng province. On the 31st of December 2022, Transnet officials, with the assistance of Bidvest Security, responded to an incident of possible damage to essential infrastructure and the theft of fuel from Transnet fuel pipeline. Fuel suspected to have been stolen from Transnet fuel pipeline was seen in the area. Attempts were made to stop the truck, and when it eventually stopped, the driver, who is Shedi Mhlanga from Zimbabwe, jumped out to hide in an effort to evade arrest. He was tracked down, arrested, and a truck valued at 602,000 rand seized. Mhlanga remains in custody as his bail was successfully opposed. He will be back in Pretoria Regional Court on the 3rd of October 2023. On the 31st of May 2023, the Priority Crown Specialized Investigation of the Hawks in Gauteng working with the Asset Forfeiture Unit of the National Prosecuting Authority, successfully secured a preservation order in respect of the truck. That was done in Pretoria High Court. Coming to serious corruption investigation, case number 25. The Hawks arrest 5 police officials. This happened in the Free State. In 2022, a cash-in-transit robbery took place in Sasolburg. Members of the public helped themselves by stealing the cash that was scattered around the scene of crime. Fortunately, the members of the police based at Kroonstad K9 and Zamdela SAPS stopped the stealing and seized the cash from the thieving members of the public. However, instead of registering the money in the exhibit register at a police station, the money was allegedly pocketed by the members. A case docket was opened against the members and referred to the Serious Corruption Investigation Unit of the Hawks based in Welkom for investigation. After a thorough investigation by the team, warrant of arrests were issued. On the 29th of June 2023, the warrants were executed against the 5 police officials based in the stations that have been reflected above. The suspects appeared before the Sasolburg Magistrates Court on the 30th of June 2023, facing charges of theft, defeating the ends of justice, and money laundering. The accused persons are out on 2,000 rand bail each, and the matter is postponed to the 5th of September 2023. In case number 26, attorney out on bail for extortion charges. This happened in Gauteng province. In September 2019, a complainant who is a suspect in a fraud matter worth more than 86 million rands reported to the police that she was approached by an attorney, Stephen Mangolela, a 53-year-old, who promised to assist her with the withdrawal of the charges against her on condition that she pays him an amount of 550,000 rands. The money required was paid in 3 tranches. The attorney is alleged to have given her a letter purported to be from the National Prosecuting Authority confirming that the prosecutor declined to prosecute on her matter and that the charges have been withdrawn. She opened a case upon discovering that the case was not withdrawn and the letter from the National Prosecuting Authority is not authentic. The docket was assigned to the Johannesburg-based Hawks Serious Corruption Investigation Team for probing. After conclusion of the investigation, a warrant of arrest was issued. On the 19th of June 2023, Mangolela was arrested while at the Randburg Regional Court and appeared in court on charges of corruption, fraud, forgery, and extortion. The case is postponed to the 4th of October 2023. In case number 27 in the Free State, accused appears in court for fraud. During 2020, a municipal infrastructure grant was allocated to the Tlhabane local municipality for upgrading Forisburg pump station. It is alleged that Ntokozo Shabalala, the former director of Infrastructure and Development, appointed the service providers Pump Group SA, Tebotech, and Toboza and Nageni engineers without following the tender processes. The service provider submitted invoices for services that were not rendered. As a result, the municipality suffered an actual prejudice of more than 9 million rands. On the 1st of June 2023, Ntokozo Shabalala, Mokeseni Lesibe, Brody Toboza, Isaac Musenohi, Sebada Mufugeni appeared before the Forisberg Magistrate Court on charges of fraud, forgery, and uttering. The case against the accused was remanded to the 19th of June 2023 for appearance in the Bethlehem Specialized Commercial Crime Court, where they were released on 5,000 rand bail each. So the case itself is postponed to the 26th of October 2023. In case number 28, the former financial manager in court for fraud. This happened in the Northwest Province. On the 1st of April 2016, Thabani Selemale secured employment as a financial manager at the Northwest Provincial Treasury using fraudulent documents. This includes his wife's identity document, where he replaced his photograph in his wife's own ID. He allegedly further used the names of his wife in the application for employment. After the appointment, the PESAL system could not authorize the allocation of a PESAL number because his ID was incorrect. An internal investigation was initiated. During the process, it transpired that Selemale subsequently submitted 2 false affidavits stating that he lost his ID and driver's license, and he has applied to Home Affairs to have them reissued and corrected. However, he allegedly absconded the department when he was due to undergo a disciplinary hearing. It would appear that the judgment given is in favor of. The judgment given in favor of SARS of over 200,000 rands may have discouraged him to use his own name. Thabani Selemale appeared before Mabat Magistrate Court on the 13th of April 2023 following his arrest by the Hawks Serious Commercial Crime Investigation on Wednesday, the 12th of April 2023 in Pretoria for fraud. He was released on 2,000 rand bail. The matter itself is postponed to the 21st of September 2023. It will appear that even when you are married in community of property, it will not include owning the certificates or identity document of your spouse. In case number 29, the Hawks NEP 7 UIF claims syndicate. This happened in the Northwest Province. Between 2019 and 2020, 2 former employees of the Department of Employment and Labour in the Northwest Provincial Government at the Mafikeng and Klerksdorp offices and 4 recruiting agents allegedly recruited unemployed individuals under various false pretenses. Claimants were informed that they were being assisted to lodge claims from the Drought Relief Fund, while others were allegedly claiming money from the UIF. Others were informed that they would be employed at SARS, while others were informed that they would be employed at Noma Lalembe project and other projects. The claimants were allegedly each given 50 rand to open a bank account. The bank cards were kept by the suspects. In addition, the claimants were made to complete UIF claim forms masquerading as former employees of Impala Platinum Mine and the Sibanye Ashanti Gold Mine. Subsequently, the suspect processed the claims, resulting in the Department of Employment and Labour suffering a loss of over 2 million rands. On the 10th of June 2023, Daniela Matsuho, Sakaria Mudise Mukobi, Thabo Muhilwa, Mutlabile Otto, Theophilus Mpeng, Deboho Musito, and Vusi Makubo were arrested in Mafikeng by the Hawk Serious Commercial Crime Investigation and the Priority Crime Specialized Investigation Unit on the alleged claims from the Employment Insurance Fund. The seven made their first appearance before Mahikeng District on the 12th of June 2023, where they are facing charges of fraud, money laundering, and theft. The case itself is postponed to the 21st of September 2023. In case number 30, tender fraud suspect appears in court. Northwest. This happened in October 2015, where Caswell Mtombeni was appointed by the Department of Community Safety and Transport Management in the Northwest Province to help the department in achieving its road safety objectives, which included training of unemployed matriculants and empowering the accredited driving schools in various areas. His duties included training and developing driving schools and learner drivers. An amount of over 21 million was paid to Mtombeni for the commencement of the program. Over 40 driving schools allegedly signed contracts with Mtombeni's company as beneficiaries of the program. It is further alleged that these driving schools used their funds to participate in the program. They did that in anticipation that Mtombeni will compensate them. Mtombeni allegedly failed to honor his contractual agreement with the driving schools and spend the money for himself. As a result, the department incurred losses in the tune of over 21 million rands. On the 26th of June 2023, Mtombeni was arrested by the Hawk Serious Corruption Investigation, assisted by the Priority Crime Specialized Investigation Tactical Operation Management Section of the Toms in DPCI Pretoria. He appeared in the Mahikeng Magistrate Court on the 27th of June 2023, where he is facing a fraud and money laundering charge relating to the criminal activities mentioned above. He was granted 50,000 rand bail, and the matter itself is postponed to the 19th of September 2023. We want to conclude that, in conclusion, allow me to repeat that the DPCI shall at all times enforce the law of the country without fear, favor, or prejudice. I thank you.
Thank you very much, General Bia, for the detailed presentation that was outlining the work done by the DPCI members in dealing and addressing the national priority offences. I think it's important to know, General, from what you presented here, that the period when the case is reported and when the person is arrested, as well as when the conviction is secured, indicates the complexity of the cases that the DPCI deals with on daily basis. Without any waste of time, I'm going to take now the questions from the media. We will start from in-house, and thereafter Pelisa will take us through the questions posted online. And I see a show of hands. Okay, as a norm, please remember to indicate your name and the media house that you're representing. Can you start there?
Behind these inflation concepts to the court, and also is he one of the people killed in the shootout, the kingpin? And lastly, who owned the National House?
Okay.
My name is Ulu questions. You do tell us about the multi-million kind of assets that you confiscated through the asset forfeiture process. But you never tell us in instances when you have to return those assets. During that process, are there assets that you have had to return because the cases were not strong? Secondly, with regard to the attorney in Gauteng, who solicited 500,000 promise of pretending that the case was withdrawn, it would appear that the person who participated in that was also participating in crime, the one who paid that half a million. Were they charged?
Okay. Okay, there's no other hand in-house. Peliswa, can you take us through the online?
We've got only one question at this stage. Alex Beach from Youth 24 has got about the questions. The first question is, of the 611 people arrested and appeared in court in the first quarter, how many cases have been withdrawn? And how many people were acquitted? Second question, how is work going to fill this position? How is work going to fill this position? And at what capacity is the house operating? Are you worried that the low budget cuts will stifle the work of capacitating the house? The last question from Alex, similarly, are you worried about losing skills once the ID becomes a permanent structure in the FDA and officials defect to the new unit on a full-time basis? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will now hand over to the national head and management to respond to the questions posted. Jenna?
Thank you very much for the questions. The first one relating to the status of Lieutenant Colonel that was injured in Limpopo. Firstly, we wish him speedy recovery. He is still receiving medical attention at hospital. So obviously we will not be unpacking how he's doing, but he is receiving medical attention, and we expect that he will be recovering under the good hands of those medical practitioners. The question of the kingpins in the Limpopo, as you are aware that those that were found in the first house, unfortunately they did not survive, which means that we will be investigating on our own without asking them questions, because those questions will not be answered by them, but we will be able to investigate ourselves. So the owner of the house was in the house, which means that some of the questions that you would like to be understanding why everybody was in the house where there were 11 firearms. In fact, 10 rifles, high caliber weapons, and a pistol, or how that army find itself in the house. Those are the things that we will be doing to understand precisely what have happened. You will know that we have indicated that it is not everybody who was participating in that was in that house. Others will be appearing today, as we shall have indicated in a media statement. We will also be investigating. A whole lot of investigation is going to be taking place. Those rifles that we have confiscated, will be working on them. Different methods that are being utilized. Our ballistics are hard at work. And various activities are happening. We will not be unpacking how we conduct our investigation. There are other devices that we shall be having in our position that we will be working on them. But obviously you will understand that because potential criminals might also be listening to us, might become cleverer if we were to tell them what we are doing. But we are unpacking that to ensure that those who participate in this type of criminal activities are accounted for. With regard to the question on the assets that we seize and confiscate, that we don't invite you when we return them, you shall have noted that most of the time we have not been bringing to your attention that today we have seized so much. But rest assured that every day we don't only arrest suspects, but we also confiscate these other proceeds that they generate from these criminal activities. If you use your motor vehicle to carry drugs, rest assured that that motor vehicle will be confiscated. We don't let you go with it because it is an instrument that you use to commit crime. If after stealing the money you go and buy something, we come after that proceeds, something that you have generated. So a lot of this, we do not always come forward and come and report. It is a process that happens that after confiscation, after seizing it from the suspect, the process of allowing you to go and protest in court takes place. It's only after the judgment that really the item get forfeited to the state. Only after forfeiture to the state, then get deposited into the criminal assets recovery account, the CARA. And I think that there is more than 2 billion in that particular account that the relevant stakeholders are busy ensuring that it is distributed to ensure that those who are involved in the fight against criminal activities can utilize those proceeds. So that is what happens. So a lot happens in that space, but we don't always report. And when the individual get the assets back, yes, they are handed back. As I have indicated, we don't report each and every case. They are many. There are many. Coming to the issue of the matter relating to the attorney as to whether the other person who have participated in this activity was charged. No, we haven't charged that person. So after the investigation, in matters of corruption, you normally get two individuals that sit around the corner that we don't see them and negotiate to make certain arrangements. And unless we somehow get to know, that type of crime usually die down because we will not know. And when some of these individuals come forward and say that this is what we have been participating, at time it might be helpful to deal with the one that it will make more impact. when you prosecute than to lose both the suspects. So obviously, when we have investigated, the prosecuting authority will assess and say that we have evidence, on whose evidence are we relying on to prosecute on this matter. So based on that, that is why you'll find that there are various processes in the Criminal Procedure Act. You know, Section 205, you know, some of the plea agreement, and some of the individuals that you would like to use them as witnesses because they lodged a complaint. So we haven't prosecuted on that one. The next question relating to the 611 cases as to how many of the suspects of this 611 that we have arrested, where the cases have been withdrawn, and where the accused have been acquitted. No, you see, we are talking about the first quarter of this financial year. We are only in the second quarter. It's too early to say which cases shall have already been acquitted and which cases will be withdrawn. These are new matters that we have just placed on the court roll in the first quarter. So at this stage, they are still currently running at court. So it will take time. That's why when I've been citing some of the examples, we cite the old ones so that you know we have got several matters that are running in court that have not yet been finalized. We have got more than 11,000 accused persons that are currently serving before the various courts in the country. So as a result, it takes time for some of these matters to be finalized. And it is for that reason that you will also see that the correctional services facility are overflowing. But it is the work that is being done. It takes time for matters to be finalized. So these matters are currently serving before the various courts. None of these cases have already reached the stage where acquittal can be pronounced. The question of the IDEC becoming permanent and the possibility of losing the skills and the filling of the posts in the DPCI, you may have observed yesterday that there were advertisement of some of the posts in the media space. Some of the posts have already been advertised internally. So there are those that you shall be seeing that are advertised externally. Some we want to recruit from within, like the detectives who have already received training. We also advertise those we are not doing externally because they are within the SAPS. So we advertise internally. We are working on that filling of the posts. The plan is that we intend to fill every vacant post within 2 financial years, obviously budget allowing. The skills that we might be losing to the ID, when the posts are being advertised in the ID or whatever methodology will be utilized to recruit, there is that possibility that some of the members may opt to be appointed in the IDEC. They will also be fighting corruption like we do in the DPCI, where we also have got serious corruption investigation. We will work together closely. And I think that let's see that we cross the bridge when we reach at it, what the impact will be on the gaps that shall have been created in the DPCI. But if they go, it will mean that it is a recognition that we also have got the best trained investigators in the DPCI. I thank you.
Thank you, General. Are there any more questions? In the absence of any, Peliswa, there's nothing online as well. Okay, this brings us to the end of this session, and once more, thank you very much for the support. We'll now take the one-on-one